Welcome back, everyone, to Quarter Swords, going into hour number 2 here. Dan, I got a quick question about you, since I know, or for you, rather, not about you, for clerics. With domain spells, those spells are already prepared, and they don't count against your number of spells, correct?
Yeah, they're like free spells you always have.
So you have 6 level 2 spells and 4 level... 6 level 1 spells and 4 level 2 spells once you factor in those prepared each day, right? Instead of 4 and 2, because you get the additional 2 for each one.
Well, it's 4 and 2, and then all of your domain ones are just always prepared.
So but it says it also doesn't count against but you can still only use 4.
Yes, it doesn't increase the amount of spells you can cast. It just increases the ones that you have prepared.
Okay.
So you're never without your domain spells prepared.
I got you.
What's your wisdom modifier? Is it 3?
3, yeah.
So you get 3 plus your level prepared spells, and then domain are on top of that.
3 plus... I thought it was 4 and 2.
That's your slots, your spell slots.
Oh, you mean prepared? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, good to go.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that you in the next day or so, you're able to pick up the armor that you need. It's delivered to you with some haste. Do you go and pick it up, or do you have somebody bring it to you while you're getting ready?
I think we arranged to have it brought to us by the boys. So
cool. What does your new plate armor look like, Azrael? And describe it for us.
It's a nice, solid head to toe, just shiny, shimmering,
splendid,
well polished steel, and I've engraved angel wings on certain parts of it to give it some flavor with the knife. And yeah,
nice.
I'm the first one up, most likely every morning, and so when they deliver that, I'm probably the one that's awake. And I think you wake up, Azrael, to me just sitting there with my beak pecking at the plate nonstop just to hear the noise, because I know it's expensive, and so it's just constantly pecking at your armor, and that's what you wake up. So there's maybe
looking at himself in the armor.
Yeah, and maybe in like one of the shoulders where the pecking was occurring, you can see like little indentations of where my beak was potentially scratching your armor. So you just wake up and like, get out of here, get the fuck out of
here. Hey, shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So you have your armor, Berg. You've been given a suit of scale armor once more, so you're able to put that on, and we've adjusted your AC accordingly. So that's good.
Berg made no modifications. Armor is armor.
You're not at 13, not at 13 anymore. Yeah. Well, I mean, Berg knows not to love his armor too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, it turns out this drug smuggling ring is run by rust monsters.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
Oh god.
Like out their wagon, they just the rust monsters go.
Yeah.
Rust monster gang.
Of like shredded metal, just
Fucking rust monsters, man.
That sweet rust. Yeah. Cool. Okay. The armor's ready. If you wanted to buy rations, that's cool. Did you decide if you wanted to buy?
We bought Berg half plate.
Did we?
Berg half plate. Okay.
Was it half plate?
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, we were very specific about that because
that's why it was so expensive.
Oh yeah, because yeah. Mm-hmm.
So wait, let me. Dan, what is your AC now with the full?
Mine's 18, and if I use a shield, it becomes 20. But I rarely use a shield.
Okay, and Max, what's yours now with the half plate? I'll just adjust the sheets here in a sec on the stats page.
Max, I think it should update, but in case it hasn't, it's 18.
Yeah.
If you use your shield, and it's 16 without it.
Yeah, okay, cool. I think we just assume, unless I say otherwise, I don't use the shield.
That's a pretty big boost for Max.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll fix the stats page while we're doing this.
Okay.
But let's go get our fortunes, Red.
Yeah. So you already have your personal fortunes. So you'll get a card for the journey, like something that tells the potential future of this endeavor of going and hunting these guys down and doing what you got to do. So let me pull up the deck here. Now, I think that the fortune teller you saw before has probably moved on as a member of the Wheel of Fortune. They don't stay in place for very long, but your new friend, Grasping Hands, has his own fortune teller. If you'd like to go and see them.
I think we'll go see him.
Alternately, you can go up out of the district and try to find somebody further up for that.
Do we? Well, okay.
Last time we did that, we got attacked. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So so you I guess let someone in the Thirsty Devils know that you're going on this journey, and they send you to a woman. Her name is Grandmother Yi, and she is very, very old. She's like the oldest member of the 12-fold Thirsty Devils. And when you go to her house, I think you walk in, and she's on the third story above like a couple of shops and then another apartment. So you climb the stairs in your new armor, and her house, you can smell like fragrant spices and tea, the scent of tea coming from the hallway before you even reach the door to her apartment. And I think when you go inside, because you have this appointment, you go inside. It's a little like one room apartment, and it's full. Like all of the walls are covered, all of the surfaces. She's got some tables and stuff, and they're all covered in various like herbs and like drying flowers, and the whole place is very, very fragrant. And when you open the door to go inside, there's a table in the middle with one chair. There's a little metal teapot with some steam drifting from it, and three empty cups sitting in front of there. And then shuffling around in the back of the room, you see an ancient woman. She has long gray hair that she's got up in a bun on top of her head. She has skin that looks like parchment, like she's like almost transparent. You can see her veins even from this distance. And she's wearing just like a simple like frock. And she's in the kitchen, and she's like cutting like vegetables or something. So you can hear the rhythmic like thok sound of a knife hitting a cutting board as you walk in. There's not a ton of room in here, so you kind of have to like crowd in a little bit.
I'm at home.
Excuse me, madam. Are you the fortune teller?
And she nods without looking, and she says, "Yes, come in. Close the door."
Guess we close the door and sit down at the table if there is one.
Okay. Yeah, there's nowhere to sit, but you can stand near the table.
Stand near the table.
And she turns around and she takes the knife and just kind of like sets it on the cutting board, and you can see she's cutting like parsnips or something. And there's a pot of water boiling on a little fire that she's got in a little I guess probably a stone stove over her hearth. And and she shuffles back towards you and gives you a look. And I think she walks right up to you, Azrael, and gives you a look up and down. And she says, "You are dressed for war, not to have your fortune told."
Well, we're off on a dangerous mission. It could be war we're heading to. We would like the gods to tell us more.
She nods, yes, of course. What strange company you keep. And are you wearing your mask, Berg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Berg's like in this tiny room, just like huddled, like. I don't like it.
Yeah. And what are you doing? Are you like scoping out her stuff, Gail? Like there's a lot of stuff to look at in here. There's like all kinds of small objects.
Does she have birds?
She does not. No.
I think Gale was pretty entranced in the other fortune telling, so he's on every letter of the word that she's saying. Just super excited for this once again. And maybe if she looks at me, I say in the other fortune tellers, the first fortune teller's voice, that this is my favorite part. And I just kind of cock my head towards her after I say that.
Yeah, she chuckles and she's taking off. She has a couple of rings on her long, some wizened fingers, and she's taking them off and she's setting them in a little candy dish with some other jewelry. And she chuckles and she says, Haven't seen one of your kind in a long time. And she looks up and down at you. She says, and certainly not garbed that way either.
I respond in the fortune teller's voice and say, "We take the hand we're dealt."
She nods. Yes, yes, we do, don't we? Well, we'll make it quick. Just the one. And she reaches out and she unfolds a cloth bundle. She takes out a very faded deck of cards, like to the point where the back of the card is almost just like beige colored. And you can see that these have been shuffled, thousands of times. They're worn, and with a practiced grace, even in her arthritic days, she starts to shuffle the cards, and she sets down 3 even piles of them. So she cuts the deck and sets them on the table, and she looks up to you as a group, not addressing anyone in particular, and gestures for you to choose a pile.
I point to Berg and say, "How about you do this one?"
Very well. Berg just goes, bah! The one in the middle.
Okay, all right. So you choose one of the piles.
Please be good.
And she draws a card. So she reassembles the deck, takes the top card off the deck, and sets it down face up on the table.
Well, it doesn't look so bad.
No, he looks pretty happy to be holding the sword.
It's the page of swords.
It's a large man.
The page of swords is a messenger. All the pages are. They represent something new entering the scene.
Was the page the one that died?
Yes, the actual page of swords that we saw before. Now
he was the one that was like poisoned, right?
Yeah, they weren't the page of swords like at the high court, but they were a page in the court of swords.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was the person that died of wraith poisoning earlier on.
Yeah, that guy fucked up.
The page of swords offers in this situation offers advice to you as you take on your journey. And the advice of the page of swords is to be just and to be truthful. To approach with integrity, to act with honesty, to seek wrongs to right. Like I feel like Azrael, you're seeing this card, you're feeling pretty good, and to have fortitude, to face your problems head on, to squarely deal with the obstructions in your path, and to not skulk around in the shadows, to not use dissembly to get what you want, to be a champion for a cause, to fight for what you believe in.
And don't run away from a quest and finish it. Say cave or.
And and because it's a page of swords, particularly, it suggests the use of your mind before your might. Developing a plan using logic and reason and analyzing a problem before you take it on is the best approach. Mm-hmm. So. She looks at it and looks at you, Azrael, and says, "A good fit, I think, at least for some of you." She looks over at Gale. "You'll have to keep that one in check, I think."
Yes. Surprisingly enough, this card confirms everything I had suspected.
I try to get a word in before Azrael speaks, and I start to say. The woman from the Thirsty Devils that attacked Azrael, and then we didn't do anything. What was her name again? Just so I have it right.
Golden Fist or something?
Oh, yeah. Golden Fist Princess, I think is what her name was.
Okay, so in Golden Fist Princess voice, right when she says that and looks at me, and after Azrael speaks, I start the sentence in her voice. I piss in the... And then I just kind of stop because I remember the rage that came from Azrael.
I look at you because I recognize that phrase, and I give you the coldest death stare. And even in your Kenku form, that you should shut up.
Yeah, I don't say the final word of the phrase, and I just stop.
Yeah. So she looks at the card and to you and says. It seems straightforward, especially if you have a quest ahead of you. Do you have any questions?
I think you've been enough help, madam. Thank you for taking the time to read our fortune.
She nods. It's nothing. Besides, your benefactor will pay me well. I'm not opposed to a tip, of course, but... And she kind of like leaves that hanging in the air and then turns.
Of course, madam.
Yeah, and to be polite, she turns to go back to the soup that she's making, and if you want to leave some money on the table for her, she'll take it, but you don't.
Leave her like some. See, I don't know what's appropriate now. Like I'd normally just be like gold, but that's way too much. So like silver or copper.
It depends on how respectful to this old woman you want to be.
I'll put a gold piece on the table and be like,
okay.
Damn.
Advice to you, madam. Walk in the fountain's light. It shall guide you always.
I would like to make a sleight of hand check against my...
Sure. Yeah.
Are you going to try to steal it?
I love
replaces it with a chocolate coin.
Yeah, he puts his up there, then you see a little fucking black hand come up and snatch it. But it's sleight of hand against my teammates.
Yeah, very much that moment of like, I'm going to put the money on the table and I'm going to turn my back, and you both turn away and someone's just like, yoink.
Yeah, I'm trying to do this without the party knowing and without the fortune.
Okay, well, why don't you roll?
I would like to do a perception check.
Yeah, exactly. You roll your sleight of hand,
okay.
And Berg and Azrael can make a check.
All right, here's sleight of hand. 17.
Okay, 17.
Oh, you got past me.
Okay,
Right.
Berg, do you notice the thievery?
We'll see. It'd be funny if he did.
Oh,
You do.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so Berg, you see Jubilant Black Gale just be like,
Trying to.
Yep.
I think Bird just makes a noise and looks at him like.
I stop dead in my tracks because I'm usually not caught. And then in Berg's voice, I say, that was not me. And I just slide the coin back. And then pull my hand back down.
That was not me. Wasn't me. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so it's a bright morning. The sun is shining. There's a breeze coming down from the mountains, and you step out into the monastery town. You've been given riding horses from your benefactor, and you have your armor. Unless there's anything else that you want to buy, you're certainly welcome to head out into the world.
Anything else you guys want?
I think we're good for now. Nothing I can think of.
Okay. All right. Cool. So you leave by way of the western gate, and there's a road that leads from here west along the valley. It's a trade road that runs west along the valley out into the western reaches of the Court of Coins. Eventually, kind of tracks north back up into the main kingdom, and then if you follow that road for several months, you would eventually reach the main trade route between the Court of Coins and the Court of Wands, which is way out to the west. But for your purposes, it's a 2-day travel along that road, along that small trade road, before you will reach the spot where this jungle caravan supposedly has been coming in from the north. So I think that your journey is more or less uneventful for those first 2 days. The weather holds. It's not it doesn't take a turn, doesn't get cold or rainy or anything. And it does track slightly away from the valley. So you're going kind of up into a jungly plateau and away from the sort of boreal, misty forests of the valley. You pass a checkpoint after the first day, and there's no one there to take money. There's no toll or anything, but it's a big stone archway, big old stone archway that marks the official border between the Court of Coins and this contested region of the Shulin Valley. It depicts, I think, probably one of the one of the early emperors of the Court of Coins, who is known for exploring and for setting up these trade routes. So there's some carvings in this big stone thing, and this is where maybe you make camp for the night. And there are several other travelers who are stopped here. So you see like a goat-drawn wagon with some goods in it, probably a family coming south to the monastery, and then a group of scholars who are coming down to study at the monastery. And on your on your first night, this is where you make camp. So do you have like tents that you set up, or do you sleep under the stars? What's your camp situation look like when you
If possible, I would sleep in a tree on a branch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just overlooking the camp, but I know we can't sleep under tree everywhere we go, especially in like plains areas. So you tell me if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the road, and then you're in this kind of mountainous. It's like a mountain pass. You're heading up out of the mountains out of the foothills into a plateau, onto an area where there's a bunch of jungle up there. And where you're at now, it's like more or less rocky. There's some like stunted trees that are hardy enough to grow in the hard soil, and then maybe a 10-minute walk off the path to the south, you'd reach the edge of the valley where it dips in, and there's a bunch of trees down there, but there's not much up here for you to climb to sleep in. And then to your right, there's just the steep kind of shale like cliffside and the rocks there that you're winding your way up to get to the jungle.
Okay.
So so you're just out in the kind of rocky open right now.
I think Azrael just, if it's not raining, he sleeps on a bedroll instead of in a tent, because he likes to be able to see in all directions, just as a safety precaution instead of in the comfort of a tent. So he just has a bedroll.
Similar with Berg, just bedroll, fashion himself just good enough thing and be able to move quick.
Okay. Can I get everybody to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please? DC is going to be 13.
Wisdom is my specialty.
Is it really?
I don't believe you.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's
I have a
-2.
5 in wisdom.
All right. Oh, but 1, Berg. Perfect. Okay. All right.
You rolled a 3 and got a -2.
So I guess my other question is how social are you at this little like stop? Do you make a point of like visiting the other camps and saying hi to your fellow travelers, or do you stay to yourself?
I mean, I'm as social as Jubilant Blackgale is, so probably not too social.
I don't think,
Yeah, I don't think I'm in a talking mood. Just
it's
sort
not
of.
within any of us to be very social.
Yeah.
Stick to yourselves. That's fine.
Yeah, I think just moving, like Gale is more reactionary vocal rather than openly vocal. He won't just walk up and have a conversation with someone. He's more keeps to himself and just tries to take in the world rather than put his
Berg is a
words
man
on
of
it.
few words.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Berg, I think we see all of you, bed down for the night, and we get the fade to black of the night going by, and you awaken, Berg, but you're not where you were before, right? You're not lying by the side of the road with your friends. You are in a dusty tunnel. It's like a square-shaped tunnel. There are carved stone walls on both sides. There's a carved ceiling above you, and the floor has also been like carved into patterns. You don't have any of your like stuff with you. I think you're wearing what, I guess you tell me, what was your like traditional garb when you were still a servant?
Really not much. Usually just
It's
a
like a
tattered shirt.
loincloth?
Yeah, tattered shirt and maybe a loincloth, or just like, very kind of burlap sacky sort of pants, nothing fancy.
Okay.
Which he
Cool,
still
yeah.
wears because there's no point. And
Yeah, so
it's a reminder.
we see you in your slave garb, and I think that as we pan in to see Berg, there are blood stains, like fresh blood stains on your clothes in the shape of your scars, and they're like seeping through your clothing. Everywhere you've ever been like whipped is like aching and bleeding. You can see because of your dark vision. You can see down the tunnel in both directions, and the walls they're a kind of pale stone, like sandstone or something, and you see carvings of snakes like intertwined serpent bodies, and occasionally you see a head, like the tail of a snake, and they're all kind of like carved to go from the floor up onto the wall and the ceiling onto the wall, and it's all kind of like a vaguely sort of intestinal looking mess of carvings of serpents. We see blood drip from your garb onto the floor at your feet. You're not wearing any shoes.
Is that it? This is where I'm waking up. No one else is around.
Yeah, this is what you see. You don't remember coming to this place or anything, but you basically we just come in on this, and you're here.
All right. First off, is Berg feeling a shit ton of pain right now?
No. You're not in any pain at all. You're
Okay.
just bleeding.
All right. Berg gets up, slowly, gets up and looks at himself and holds his hands on and clutching his, his chest and his stomach, and then just looks around the area. I don't know. Can I roll a perception?
Yeah.
Just to see if I see anything else other than the snakes or hear anything.
Yeah, make an investigation check to get your bearings. Yeah, to look around and see what's going on.
This feels like I'm not awake.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. You I think you're aware that you are dreaming. Yeah. You take a minute. You're like, whoa, and then you're like, wait, this isn't real. I fell asleep at the camp with my friends. Like you regain that memory as you focus.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're aware that you are.
I think that realization calms him down a little bit. He realizes that I'm in no mortal danger right now. But
I didn't say that.
Okay. Okay. Berg is a simple man, okay?
You're just aware that you're
and
dreaming.
so am I, as was pointed out earlier. Yeah, I guess he gets up in his dreamland cautiously and slowly, and I just know that I'm just in a tunnel. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Is there any light coming from one direction or another?
Nope.
Just complete darkness. I guess he sees if there's a torch on him in this. He tries to grasp for any sort of torch or anything. No, Berg has low light. He can see.
You have low light vision. You don't need a torch.
Yeah. Okay. Then he just heads down, we'll say, the northern side slowly.
The northern side. Oh, shit.
You just can pick a
Not the
direction.
northern side.
Well, it's either north or south, right up one side.
Well, it's forward or back, right? You don't.
Yeah,
you don't
forward or
have a sense
back. That's what I'm saying. We'll just assume it's. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. You start to head forward. Okay. So the stone beneath your feet is warm, as if it's been sitting out in the sun. And every time you take a step, you can feel your wounds drip blood behind you. So we see Berg kind of walk away from the camera, trailing blood on the ground, and you start to go down this tunnel. And I think that we follow you for a while, and the tunnel. It quickly becomes clear that you're in some kind of a maze, right? You reach a T intersection, you choose a direction, you follow it. There's another turn, and then a turn, and then an intersection. And even if you wanted to, you find very quickly that the only way you could find your way back is by following a trail of your own blood. But when you turn to look, there is no such trail. At all times, you feel like you're in the same length of hallway with the unchanging snake patterns on the floor and the walls. How are you feeling? How does this feel for Berg, being trapped in this dream maze? What's your reaction?
He's starting to, even though he knows that it's not real, he's very, very confused and starting to get a little panicked and frightened. I think at this he leans closer, seeing that he's just going in a fucking maze. He leans closer to the wall and attempts to examine it further and touch maybe the wall.
Okay.
The snakes to see if there's any sort of reaction. He's just trying to make shit happen so he can be done.
Sure. Yeah. Make a wisdom check for me. Just roll your wisdom.
Sure.
Okay. So it's actually not a save. So you don't have your proficiency. So you're. I mean, it's a very low roll. It's a bad roll for you to begin with, but it's okay. You fail anyway. So you lean in to take a closer look at the wall, and the snakes that make up the wall all kind of like slither with a dry hiss, somewhere between like an actual snake moving and like stone scraping against itself. They start to like slither away, opening a passageway ahead of you. Your dark vision is overridden by a dull red light that seems to come from a chamber beyond. There is a long set of stairs that descends down into this red kind of glow.
All right. having seen that, he just like puts his hand up like that and just goes like that, and then slowly, as his eyes start to adjust a little bit, moves down the staircase through the passageway.
Okay. All right. So as you descend, you can hear what sounds like a breeze, like a gentle wind blowing across a field of grass. Or you hear that kind of like whispering sound.
Mm-hmm.
The red light flickers and gets brighter as you get closer to the bottom of the stairs. And when you step off the bottom stair, you can see that you are standing in an archway. It's a big stone archway, and it's two snakes kind of curving up to each other, and they're biting each other on the neck at the top. So they're like clasped over this big arch. And then beyond, there's a long stone, basically like a bridge, big stone bridge that's like the back of a snake. And then on either side of the bridge, just darkness. Like it just drops down into darkness. You can see at the far end of the bridge, maybe 100 feet or so, there's a big brass like brazier, and that's where the glowing red light is coming from. In front of it, there is a pool, what looks like a pool of water, and there are several figures bathing in it.
All right. Berg's going to continue slowly approaching because he doesn't, it's either forward or backwards, and he's just going to keep moving forward.
Okay. All right. So as you walk across the bridge, you can hear that susurrus, that whispering sound down below, and you cast a glimpse, and you can just barely make out like movement. And what you thought was the sound of a breeze, you realize is the sound of snake scales like rubbing against one another. And the pit below you, you can make out the glint of serpentine eyes and a huge snake body. And there are multiple of these massive snakes kind of like writhing around some 100 feet below you.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Berg's visibly shook because of this and maybe moving a little bit faster, but more carefully,
and
looking down at his feet. The
bridge is doing that thing where it doesn't matter how long you walk on it, it never seems to get any shorter. You're just walking towards this darkness that never, or towards this light that never seems quite like it's going to get to you. And I think that as you do you run? Do you start to like pick up pace, or like you realize you're not actually getting any closer to it?
I think Berg keeps running, and as soon as he realizes that he's not going anywhere, he reaches extreme panic for a moment. And then eventually just stops, catches his breath, closes his eyes, and then falls back off the bridge.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, you fall back into the darkness. And who's on watch before Berg? Who's like going to wake Berg up?
I think I will.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Azrael, you we cut to you, and you're like kneeling over Berg, because you aren't able to wake him. Like you shook him, but he didn't wake up, and he's kind of like thrashing a little bit and like moaning in his sleep. And then he snaps awake. Berg's eyes snap open. Can you make a perception check for me real quick, please, Azrael?
Oh God. Oh man. No.
Okay. So, for just a second, and maybe it's a trick of the firelight, but for just a second, Berg's eyes don't have pupils the way they used to. They just have these narrow slits, and he blinks hard, and then it's like just normal. Like you're just like, wait, no, it was just a trick of the light.
Berg wakes up in a panic.
Relax. You were having a nightmare, Berg. You were having a nightmare. Relax.
I was in a tunnel. Snakes all around. Where are we?
But we're still in camp. You fell asleep. You had a bad dream. It's okay. I'm here. Are you okay?
I don't know. It's so strange.
Dreams are a very strange thing, Berg. Sometimes they're visions of the future. Sometimes they're metaphors of your life. You never know what they are. What did you dream?
I was trapped in a dark hallway. Snakes were everywhere.
Are you afraid of snakes, Berg?
He just looks. Berg just looks at him like,
It's nothing to be ashamed of. We all have our fears.
You would be afraid of a giant snake as well.
I would be afraid of a giant most anything. But it's okay. Look around you. We're in camp. Nothing can harm you. Hopefully.
You didn't see anything, did you?
I just saw you shaking, and and I'd come to wake you up because it is your turn for watch. But I noticed that you were convulsing in your sleep. Must have been an intense dream.
I think Berg's just kind of looking off, like kind of thinking to himself, like, had to have been a dream. Like it wasn't. Fuck. Just like thinking to himself, trying to like figure out what the fuck that was. And then I guess he just, says back to Azrael, like,
Yes. You're probably right.
It's okay, my friend.
How long was I out?
You've only been out a few hours. If you don't feel up to it, I'll get Gale and let you sleep a little longer. Are you okay?
No. I will take watch.
he doesn't want to go to sleep. He's like, I'll take this watch. You go to sleep.
All right. Well, if you need to talk about it, or if you're not okay, I'm always here for you.
I'm fine.
He says, like not yelling, but you know what I mean, like.
Yeah. I think that sound wakes like Jubilant Black Gale. You wake up because you hear Berg shout like, "I'm fine."
I just kind of peer down from the roost and
think
gather my feathers back up to make sure everything's okay, and then just fall back.
Once
to
Berg
sleep.
realized like he woke him up and he's being a little loud, he's like,
I'd just rather be awake right now.
It's okay, my friend. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. If you need help, do not feel afraid. We're always here for you. We're in this together.
If we last much longer.
The
Berg's just
world
feeling very uneasy.
Yeah.
The world wants us to die, and it's up to us to resist with all our might and say to the world, not today.
I don't want to lose anymore.
You've never told me, Berg. Why do you have the shackle on?
Sometimes a slave cannot escape slavery, no matter how hard he tries.
You were once a slave, then. Did you kill your master?
No, that is not why I have this. Berg has long been a slave.
And he like kind of pulls apart, and shows the giant X on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
There are
Now, is
many.
this? I guess I have a question for you, Azrael. So, especially among the dwarves, it originated with them, but there are some humans, especially those that share neighboring communities with dwarves. The enslavement of the half orcs as a species is common. It's like a given thing among dwarves. Dwarves all consider half orcs to be slaves, and many human cultures do as well. Does the fountain have an opinion about the nature of the half orc soul? Right, because to enslave a person with a soul means to stop them from their full potential. It stops them from progressing along the path of the arcana. But the fountain, I mean, the Tianqi considered the walking path of the arcana to be like kind of a tacked on philosophical thing humans invented. So it's a bit complicated. But what do you think of the idea of like slavery generally? Like how does Azrael see that as a thing in the world?
Slavery is something that's brought on by people themselves, not the gods, and the gods don't support or disapprove of slavery. It's a human and dwarven custom, and the heavens don't want to micromanage the mortal
Right.
realm. Like,
Yeah, of course.
It's sort of like, the heavens sort of like let the humans do what they want as long as it doesn't interfere with, the path of the fountain and that
Totally.
the
Well,
greater scheme.
The celestial, yeah, and that makes sense. The celestial bureaucracy has better things to worry about, like making sure that the sun rises and sets, and making sure that the wind blows, and that the sea doesn't turn to blood. Like they're keeping reality in check. So yeah, it makes sense that maybe it would be too small. Okay, cool. I like that. Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What did you just tell me, Berg? That you showed me that your chest has crosses on it.
Yeah, I think the last thing he said was no matter how hard someone tries, or like, how hard he fights to get away from being a slave, somehow always comes back to him. That's the gist of what he said.
I've seen many of your kind. Very few of them walk free as you do. You may feel a slave, but you at least walk free amongst everyone else. That's something many of your kind can't even say. I've seen people, half-orcs, chained up and worked to death. I want to help you.
I lived that life. I will do everything in my power to prevent it happening again.
I will find a way to get this off of you. And I point to the shackle. If there's a way, I will find it.
Do me a favor. If it
Sure.
seems that someone captures me and is taking me back, kill me.
You'd rather die free
Do
than be
not
a slave.
hesitate. Do not falter. Kill me.
If that is your wish, I promise I will carry it out. But I make a promise to you. There's a way for me to save your life. I will.
Fair enough.
All right. Enjoy your watch, my friend. I'm going to catch some sleep.
Excellent. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, if the two of you don't already have inspiration, go ahead and take it.
Cool.
And and so Berg, I think you're on last watch, and you spend the next few hours sitting, waiting for the sun to rise. And is this a troubled period for Berg, or do you manage to kind of like shake it off as you rest?
The fact that he's awake and he knows he's awake and is like doing something kind of calms his nerves a little bit, knowing that he has a little more control over shit, but he's still a little shaken, but starting to calm down, trying to just hone that into just being sharp and focused at everything that's happening around him.
Can you make one more wisdom save for me real quick?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
While you're making the save, throughout the night...
Fuck me, damn it.
Go ahead, JP.
Throughout the night, Gale definitely is... He normally just speaks in his sleep, but it's other people's voices, and they aren't coherent thoughts. So, like, you just hear a lot of, like, Hazan talking throughout the middle of the night from up above you as you're sitting there contemplating on everything. That's probably not the most comforting noises, especially from a man like Hazan. Yeah.
Little babbling doom noises from a bird.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so you got a 7 on that wisdom save, which is a very, very low roll. So thanks for that.
Good roll. Seven's a lucky number, Adam.
So you go to just like sit by the path. You find a rock to sit on and keep an eye on your friends. And and you have that moment where you're like, okay, it was just a dream. I'm not dreaming anymore. And I think that we just hear like a hiss, and you look over and you see a snake come out from under a rock and like slither across your path, and then disappear into the underbrush.
I think Berg literally grabs his sword and is just like ready just to see what the fuck this thing does. Like shit. Like that.
Or
grabs, his hammer or whatever.
Yeah, just slithers across the path, disappears into the underbrush.
Fuck. He shook again.
Yeah.
Not full on, like it was before, but still just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So next day arrives, the other travelers awaken, and you can hear the camps starting to wake, people starting to cook food, the smell of people's breakfast tea coming from down where the other people have all kind of gathered to eat, and you feed your horses and yourselves. And head out. Now, I assume, Berg, and I'll let you know if this isn't possible, but I assume that before you rest, before all that happens, every night you're going to go out and find food
Yep.
for everybody. Okay, yeah. So you've got a couple of like rock pheasants or whatever that you've cooked the night before, and you've got some leftovers that you can eat in the morning, and so you do. And put away your camp and continue northwest into the jungle. So the day goes by. We get a full day of travel. So morning, night passes uneventfully. The next day, you enter the path. You reach the top of the plateau, and the trade road continues west. And partway through this day, following the map that you've got, you reach a point at which there should be, somewhere within an hour or so's travel, there should be a way north into the proper jungle. Now, the jungle here is quite sparse. You know, if you look to the north, you can still see between the trees. The canopy is still quite thin, but there's like some very deep jungle up here if you continue this way, and you would need some kind of road to get that way. So I guess before you reach where you think, or you start looking for the entrance to this path, is there anything you want to do, or do you want to start investigating, looking for the entrance?
I'm looking at a spell real quick. What about the rest of you?
I
So
guess
basically,
I
just
just want
pick
to
jungle in front of us, right?
look behind us to make sure that no one is following us from the town.
Yeah, I mean, there's no traffic immediately around you, but there's definitely, like, this is a trade road, and it's the one that leads to the monastery. Now, the monastery is only a town, and it's an isolated town, so this road isn't paved or anything. It's not one of the great roads of the kingdom, but it's a back road, and there are people that use it to get from the monastery out into the court proper. But no, there's no one like skulking through the jungle behind you.
Azrael, this is where we're supposed to be, right? This is where the map is. Like you've led us to the spot on the map that you were told, correct? These are coordinates or that whereabouts?
Yeah, like he gave me a map and showed me the path and where.
And it's obviously it's a medieval map, right? So it's not like exact down to the meter, but somewhere in the vicinity. You've reached the top of the plateau. It should be somewhere in the next few hours. It'll be to your north. So to the right of you, and it'll be somewhere in there, but you don't know off the top of your head.
All right. Well,
where?
I'll take a risk. I'm going to cast Aid on the three of us, so everyone gains 5 HP to your maximum and current HP for the next 8 hours.
Cool.
Nice.
44.
So hopefully we get in a fight in the next 8 hours.
I think it's likely.
9 hours later, you find yourselves in the jungle.
Bird's still dreaming about snakes.
8 hours and 1 minute later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your alarm goes off, the spell ends, and then ambushed by assassins. Weird how that happens.
Snake assassins.
So what does your aid spell look like, Jubilant Blackgale? What does that look and feel like for your friends?
Trying to think, because I didn't really describe what the other spell looks like. I think if it's fitting in with the Tempest, it's almost, so I don't actually, even though the spell is touch, like I get very close to your skin, but wind kind of like comes out of my fingers and brushes up against your skin, and like everything on like your hair and the little 2 or 3 feet cube just kind of like blows out as if there's a huge force of or gust of wind or something like that coming out from it, and then you just feel like a warm sense about you after that, because it's not cold air or anything. It's as if you were sitting on like a beach somewhere relaxing, as the wind was hitting on your face, but it's on your skin this time around. Not harsh at all.
It Feels good to feel the power of the fountain again. Thank you, my friend.
I just
Yeah, y'all
Nod.
are feeling real good now, ready to head out. So I guess the question then is, do you just like find the path and head up that way? Like, what's the plan? I want to know what your intention is here, because the route leads from somewhere in the jungle. They don't know. They stole this map off someone. Or took it off a corpse, but it leads to somewhere in the jungle, and supposedly there are caravans or wagons at least that go up and down this track to bring these bad substances from the jungle into the monastery.
I guess we kind of want to be a little stealthy about it. We just want to like try to find the path and then as quietly just head down it as we can until we start seeing signs of movement or life. Just mostly to scout around and see what we see. We're not like trying to rush up there and barge in.
Okay. All right. So it's like midday now. Let's see how long it takes to find the entrance. We'll have a group investigation check. It's not about whether you can find it or not. It's how fast it is. And we'll say the DC's, call it 12. So if 2 out of the 3 of you can get a 12 or better, you'll find it like quite quickly.
All right. Who's rolling first?
I'll do it. Wow. 3.
All right, Azrael, good work.
Well, Max,
I'm
you
still
wanna
getting
roll
used to my
next?
new armor.
Because if you roll low, then we're
Sure.
fucked.
Hot.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow, there's the exact opposite roll. Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right, so 19.
I will
Good.
use my inspiration from last episode on this because it's important to me after just casting a 2nd level spell.
Oh, and do you have guidance?
Oh, and thank God I
Boy.
did.
Wow.
A 1 and a 20.
No, I don't
That was
have
fucking
guidance.
extreme.
Okay.
Yeah, that was very extreme.
Yeah, that is
Uh,
that's
crit
awesome.
and fail.
Look at that.
2
Yeah,
crits.
all 3 of you got a crit on your roll. It just wasn't. Ow. Chaos plateau. All right, so you, I think that it takes a long time. So I'm gonna roll to see how many hours it takes you to find, because it's well hidden on purpose. Let's see. I'm gonna roll a d8. Let's say it's like 11 in the morning now.
Wait, so we find it faster, right? Because we both crit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I rolled a 6, and we'll cut that in half. So it takes 3 hours to find it. You got lots of time left on your spell. So we'll say, make a note here. 2, 3. There you go. Okay. And so you find it takes a while, like looking, and you're going real slow, keeping an eye on it, looking for the entrance, and then you realize there's some wagon tracks, are very very like they've been covered, but you can see that they've been covered up. There's some wagon divots that come out of a set of brush off to one side and then come out onto the road. They've done a good job hiding it, but you are smart to their shit, and and so this is the entrance. And if you look, you can see sort of beyond in the darkness of the jungle, moving through and around the trees. There is this area that's been cleared away with machetes and heads out into the deep jungle.
All right. I would think we approach that area and carefully maybe see if there's any traps or booby traps towards the entrance that they've hidden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Berg, why don't you make an investigation check?
Yay.
God.
God fucking damn it.
God damn.
Good, got a 1. No, you don't see any
All
effort
good, guys.
aside from hiding the path. You don't see any traps or snares or anything.
It's clear. Don't even look for yourself. It's fine. I've seen everything.
Are you distracted by a butterfly or something?
Yeah. I'm just like, or I'm just like snake.
Yeah, a snake jumps out of you. So you see this path, and it extends north into the jungle.
Is it just like basically just wide enough to fit a cart through? And
Yeah, you'd have to pull the brush aside. That's covering the entrance, and then beyond that, there's just a length that heads a pathway that heads out into the jungle.
I guess we all as a group start heading in there, leaving, going as cautiously as we can. Try not to make too much noise.
Okay,
Mhm.
who's gonna move the little barrier that they've got put up?
Berg will do
Can
it.
I
Berg
can I
is-
Can I do it with sleight of hand check to make sure there's not a fucking booby trap on it?
Well, investigation is the check to look for traps. Berg has assured you there are none, but if you don't believe him, you
I
can
mean,
take
I
the time
don't
to-
trust him, but I have a 0 in investigation as well, so I could try it and we could see what happens. I will.
I had a -1, so you're in a better seat than I am.
Yeah, I will investigate it and see what happens here.
Okay.
Nope.
Hey, look at that!
Nope.
I told you were better than me.
Not
It's
a
definitely
not a
definitely-
clue.
Yeah.
got a 2
so
though.
I go up and investigate it. And turn back to Azrael and give him a thumbs up.
And then I trusting my friends, I'm like, well, thank you. I'll go ahead and clear this out, and I will go push it to the side, the brush.
Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, you do. You just like, and you find that from the front, it looks like natural, like fronds and stuff just sticking out of the foliage, but they've actually got a wooden like frame underneath that you can reach through and pick up and move the whole thing. So it's a kind of little fake wall of brush. And then you got a clear path here, and you can see that the wagon tracks are a little easier to see where
Oh,
you're
yeah,
at.
it's clear. It's fine. It's totally
Yeah,
good.
no, me and Berg know what's going on.
We know what we're doing.
The,
Guys are
motherfucker,
safety commission has confirmed that
You're the
yes,
best bros.
It is totally fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Azrael's
I
leading, I
guess we-
think.
I guess we'll go in, and we'll also put the thing behind us to cover it back
Yeah.
up.
Perfect. All right. So you pull the hiding the blind back over where it is, and you start to head down the path. And yeah, I think that maybe before we go to break, what we see is the three of you descending into deepest jungle. A big like hairy spider climbs across a branch. We see vines hanging, and then we fade to black as you disappear.
All right.
Cool.
We'll see
Cool.
what the jungle holds for you when we get back, I guess.
Yeah, we will. All right,
Yeah.
let's take a break. Still got 2 hours left to go here on Court of Swords week. I think it is 25.
It is 25.
I think it might be 25. I think it is 25. So we'll be right back with hour 3. We'll see you then.